This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans. Welcome to the Thursday night edition of the Lowdown. Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr, OG squad, rolling with you tonight. Max Araj is on assignment. He went and saw the Ghost Pirates tonight, and they won in a shootout. So he had a great time. We look forward to hearing his recap of that tomorrow night and just how much fun he had over at the Ghost Pirates game. But tonight, it's just me and Wes hanging out. We may have some friends, and we got some invitations out. We'll see if they're able to oblige us and RSVP. But one of them is to Misa be trolling. That's his new nickname on the show, Misael Garzon. Misa be trolling. His boys are up 3-2 right now on Parkview at last report at the 70th minute, and he says yes and link. So looks like we're going to get Misa tonight. So that'll be fun. But you were at the tank earlier.
I was at the tank as well. Yeah. Of course, the soccer games didn't start until very late, so I had to dart out and get back home to get ready for the show. But
right, yeah, because the soccer game started at 8.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. A very late start over there at May River, hosting that Parkview side is coming over from out of state and playing a couple of squads. But this was an important win for May River. They snapped an 8-game losing streak with this victory, taking it 17-5, and they're up pretty solid after the first half, up 10-2. And this May River team is
highlights coming soon too. But.
Yeah, this Shark squad is, as good as they've been these last few years. They've had their fair share of adversity this season, and certainly hasn't been the year that they've been one. It had a lot of games on the road. I think that's a key reason why
they're very young. They're really young.
They're a young side, and especially when you lose a guy like Brooks Van Esselstyn, everything that he, stood for and did for this team. That's like losing a couple of players when you lose a guy like him.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
And an assistant coach, It really is. But when I saw them early, that you could tell they were really young. They were having to do a lot of coaching of, fairly fundamental stuff. But that also indicated that there was going to be an opportunity for a lot of growth. And, I think they've definitely taken their lumps, but I think this result tonight, 17-5 against a Bluffton team that had won their last 2 games and was playing better. Right. This shows me that they have grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're just kind of in that soft middle right now, they can't really compete with the top tier teams, but they take care of business against the ones they should.
Yeah, that's a much-needed win back at home. But, you got two different guys with 4 goals, Landon Kushner and Bryson Hartz. Ashton Stevenson had a really nice game as well alongside Turner Johnson. So, getting a lot of contributions from the attackers and, really that hot start and really carried that the rest of the way. But this May River team, it wasn't all pretty. They've made a couple of bad passes and mistakes that you wish you wouldn't have seen, but definitely a step in the right direction, especially against a Bluffton team that you mentioned has been playing a lot better and has a couple of tremendous athletes on that team that will make it difficult for you to beat them. So, taking care of business at home, winning that rivalry game, that's important, and that really gives.
They've dominated that rivalry. That's 11 straight for the Sharks in the rivalry. So they took it over in 2018. That's when they turned the tide, and they've won everyone since then. So pretty impressive. Some of the guys that the coaching staff shouted out in their little recap. First of all, senior night for Zarek Miller, Will Morrow, Karan Green, and Bryce Harris. They were all honored. There's some good names in there. That's some Morrow and Karan were both big contributors in football too. And then scoring, Landon Kushner, Levi Booth, Turner Johnson, Bryson Hart, and Ashton Stevenson. Logan Calvo dominating the faceoffs, and Will Rowley dominated the ground balls and provided pressure to force a bunch of turnovers. Zarek Miller with 8 saves on senior night. So good outing by the Sharks. I still think they're pretty quality, and I think they could, knock somebody off in the playoffs. They're not going to go deep. I don't think, but that program is. This was kind of the rebuilding year, sort of the little dip year that you knew was coming. But I think over the next few years, they're going to continue to climb.
I expect to see a lot of progression over these next few games as, you get into the postseason, and it's a team that if they can really gel and click at the right time, they can shock somebody. So, it's what you'd expect in a year like this. They're kind of trying to gel together and play as a cohesive team, and we've seen some really bright spots this game. A couple of excellent individual efforts throughout this contest. Levi Booth, that guy is fun to watch when he's on his game. He could snipe some shots to the back of the net. Turner Johnson had a hat trick. He had a really nice game. Just a great overall. It's an IQ of where to be to pick up some goals. You mentioned Bryson Hart and Landon Kushner. Kushner's been really reliable as a junior. You need those upperclassmen to really set the example. And so you talk about Hart and Kushner, both juniors, and then the senior goalkeeper, Derek Miller. You said providing some strong goalkeeping in the net is something you need to win games, and great to see him produce on senior night. It's always an important milestone in your career, and you want to put together a good performance there. So good for him, and good to see the veteran guys of this team leading the way, and some of these underclassmen are starting to show what they've got. And Kerr Johnson is just a freshman. He had a hat trick, so maybe a sign that these guys are starting to turn the corner, and none better to do that to against your rival, and that's something that pulls everyone together when you're able to keep the tradition going and to take care of the rivalry as they've continued to do. So do not sleep on this Sharps lacrosse team. Great program. They swing the hammer, and they might be doing that to a little deeper than you might expect that they can really get going. But I love that the way that program buys in. They draw well. They attract a bunch of students and fans in those games. It's great. Mm-hmm. Today they had it on the football field today, and a heck of a turnout, which is really cool. And nice to have like a 2-for-1. You get some lacrosse.
Yeah.
And they had the student workers move the lacrosse goals out and bring the big soccer goals in between games.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, quick turnaround. They've got a good schedule the rest of the way. They should win the next 3, I think. Hilton and Christian, Effingham, and Buford.
Hilton and Christian,
so they should be able to go into the playoffs with some momentum if they get in. I don't know. I don't know what the
it's top 8. It's the top 8 in the lower state that gets in the playoffs. It's not region based, of course. Just the top 8 seeds get into the bracket. So.
But they don't play a balanced schedule as far as I can tell. So how do they determine that? I'm not sure what the process is there. So that's I don't know. If they get in, they might beat somebody, but probably not if they're the 8 seed and they got to go play Bishop England or whatever. But we'll see. I don't know. They're definitely coming along. They're a solid program. They're going to get there. They're going to get back up there. Hilton had their number this year, but I think Manville will be right back. And again, I'm sure you saw a bunch of Lowco Rush kids out there tonight. There's something building there. So it's pretty cool. Also on the lacrosse field, Savannah Christian 13-2 over the May River girls. Soccer, Hilton Head Prep 5-0 over St. Andrews on the girls side. I haven't seen a boys score yet. The May River game did go final. 3-2 Sharks over Parkview. Nice. We'll get a recap from Misa here in a bit. Misa be trolling. Medeiros, Carter Lawson, and then Josh, I'm going to say Karachure with the game winner in the 70th. Flurry of scoring in the second half. It was 1-0 for the longest time, and then Medeiros in the 63rd, and then Parkview answered 4 minutes later, and then Lawson 2 minutes later, and then Karachure 1 minute after that. So Sharks pounced.
2 goals. They know how to score 2 goals in less than a minute.
Yeah,
we saw it with Joel Fleek, and now they do it again.
Yeah.
I love the dramatic.
Bluffton boys won big 7-1 over Richmond Hill. And then on the baseball front, Bluffton Actually, they lost to Brookwood. I have this wrong in here.
Hmm.
They lost 9-3. Buford is up 12-7 in the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th. They've been batting for a minute in the bottom of the 6th, feels like. But and Buford softball beat Hilton Head 8-0. I'm gonna tell you, it was a one-hitter. It was not a
One here
no-hitter.
for Kylie Rast.
Kylie Rast went the distance, 1 hitter, 2 walks, 18 Ks. She did hit 3 batters, so she was effectively wild. But 18 strikeouts in 7 innings. And then she scored 4 runs. It was a lot of errors for
He's
Hilton.
a monster.
A lot of errors.
But that's a Hilton Head team that's also in rebuild mode.
Very young, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
super
watch that. See where that team will be in 2-3 years, because
I think their middle school team's good too. So I think they're coming. I think they're starting to come. It's been a while, it's been a long while trying to build that up. There hasn't been much really used softball on the island for a long time. So, I think it's just kind of been slow to get to kind of bubble to the top, but it's starting to get there. And then golf, Buford shot a 160 at Hilton Head Lakes, pretty good number. May River with a 165, Bluffton 170. Hilton Head shot 173, which was their best score of the year, and they got 4th by 13 shots. So
it'd be like that sometimes.
Course was giving them up today.
Yeah.
Simon McAllister from Buford, the medalist, with a 37. So that's the golf, and that's Hilton Head Prep baseball also 9-2 over First Preparatory Christian. Yeah, that's what it is.
FPCA company getting it done. Yeah.
Yeah,
not the busiest night, but still some quality results, especially for the Sharks. That's a nice win, come from behind, comeback victory for Misael Garzon's squad. I'm excited to talk with him, and that could be a huge momentum builder heading into the remainder of region play against a team from out of state. Those tend to be some quality teams that they end up facing to come over here. So you did something tonight if you're River Sharks. So I've not been able. I wanted to stay, but had to get back in time for tonight.
Yeah,
but,
I did a double take at that 8 p.m. start. Like, wait,
8 p.m.
what?
start? Yeah, well, because of the cross.
What is this? The Final Four? We don't start the national championship game.
The 9 o'clock national championship game.
9:20. Yeah. Oh, this will be so great for the kids.
That's how you grow the game. You bring it past the kids. But,
I mean, my parents always just let me stay up for big games.
Yeah.
We just dealt with the repercussions tomorrow. That's how you end up doing this for a living.
Right.
When your parents let you stay up
so they
for
got
big
another
games.
one. Kennesaw Mountain comes in on Saturday. Early 11 a.m. kickoff.
Maderos is watching from Bermuda tonight. Love it.
Nice.
All right. Jake with the Golden Knight as well. Again. He's playing well. Look forward to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. They got a lot of home games up ahead. They have Kennesaw Mountain, as I mentioned, and then hosting James Island. That's a game that has potential to be really good. And then Colleton County, that's when they should win. So that's a chance to build a lot of momentum at the Shark Tank. Midway at going into the home stretch of this year. They got only a few region games left. James Island, Colleton County, and Bluffton all at home. So that'll be nice. Leg 2 of the Bluffton Derby coming up on the 23rd of April. So looking forward to
really
seeing how that rematch goes. The Sharks got them in Bluffton in a nail biter 2-1. So I expect a good bounce back there from Josh Fox's team on the road side of things as they head to
they got after
the tank.
Tonight.
So
Bluffton got after tonight. Beat the snot out of Richmond Hill 7-1. The player of the game was Alexis Hernandez. I don't know. I don't have any stats, but Max Preps tells me he was the player of the game. They scored 5 in the first half, so they just came out and put it on him. So Foxy's boys were out for blood tonight.
Yeah.
Let's shout out some sponsors. The MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports keep us going, and it starts with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. She's with the Anchor Home Group at Keller Williams of the Lowcountry, and she'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor, or pull up your anchor and put the house on the market and find a new one. Whatever you want to do, we can get you into the real estate market right over here. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. Homegrown Home Inspections is our official home inspector of Lowco Sports, and Jan Lucas, I saw him today. He and his team are the best in the business. They're going to make sure that house is ready to go from top to bottom before you sign the papers. And if you're building a new home, you got to have that phase inspection from Homegrown Home Inspections, our official home inspectors. Our official real estate closing attorneys are the Mickelson Law Firm. They're our original sponsors since 2017, and we love everything they do. They're our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And again, shout out to Jack Ussery signing yesterday with Navy. Just a really, really cool kid. And Hospice Care of the Lowcountry is our official hospice provider and the only not-for-profit hospice care in Southern Beaufort County. They're also providing palliative care and free grief counseling and plenty of other services. And nobody has to come out of pocket because it's not for profit. And at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. And that is the MVP sponsor roster. And we are now joined by the winning coach tonight, Misa B. Trollin. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going?
He did approve his nickname, by the way, Misa be trolling, because he was trolling bad the other night, and
We be trolling.
Lacrosse painted it blue tonight as well. So I know you were pumped about that, but give us the recap of the late night football over there in the tank.
It was, lacrosse started off the night with the senior night, a big 17-5 win over Bluffton in their rivalry game. So that's good. I think that's their 11th win in a row against Bluffton, if I saw correctly. So congrats to Coach Dyer and the lacrosse team. And for us, the main event, solid Parkview team, very good Parkview team. Went down 1-0 in the half. They scored right before halftime. And then second half, Jacob converted a great penalty to tie it. Then we went up 2-1. Carter Lawson finished a great ball by Lucas Presida. And then I think about 4 minutes later, Parkview tied it up. And then we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, I believe.
Yep.
Still was solid, great response by us. I was down about a few starters due to injuries. So it was good response by us and a great game. Parkview's a solid team. It was a fun, clean game to watch. Both teams trying to play, moving the ball, passing, and just trying to create chance. It was a fun game against a team that we normally don't play, and a 7A Georgia team at that. A very successful story program. I think they've won like 8 state championships in their history.
Yeah,
so
that's a really quality win.
Yeah, so very, very happy for the boys and glad we got the win. You guys see I'm still here, just finished cleaning up. So just hanging out with you guys for a little bit on a school night. So happy for getting a win.
Day.
Appreciate it.
Long day.
Yeah,
we have a viewer from Bermuda tonight. Alex Medeiros.
That's why he wasn't announcing my games. And I was like, where's our announcer? He's in Bermuda. Man, it must be nice to be a Mid-River soccer announcer and get to go to Bermuda during the season. I need to get that gig and that pay.
Well, he's buttering you up now. He says you're the best coach in South Carolina. So
love to see that.
Back in the good
graces. Misa, just tell me more about what happened there as the game opened up quickly. Midway through the second half, we saw 4 goals scored, 3 from you guys scored, and then Parkview answered to make it 2-1 before you guys rounded off 2 in a row in a minute span, in just around 8-7 minutes. So just tell me about how that went down and what you guys did to get back in this game.
Yeah, no, first half was very tight. I think both teams were trying to fill each other out, so there weren't many chances. And then, they capitalized on a mistake that we made defensively. Great finish, but it was a very even game. And then the second half, we started attacking more. We were getting more aggressive. Once we got the penalty and scored and tied it up, it kind of opened the game up a little bit. And then, they had a great counter to score their second goal. But, it's if you look at our scores all season, I think 95% of our games have been close all season. It's a tough schedule, and you guys know I like to play tough teams and play it tough. And then these non-region games, especially because our region is so difficult and so complicated. But it was a good even game. Parkview's a solid team. It was nice to see a different team. The game, there was no dirty plays. Referees did an excellent job tonight as well, letting the boys play, letting the teams play. It was just a good, fun, clean game. And, I told my boys at halftime, what's our response? We're down 1-0. Last few games, we were up 1-0 Tuesday night, and then we let Hilton Head tie it at the very last play of the game. We won in penalties, but what's going to be our response? We're home down 1-0 against a solid team. What's our response? And we came out, like you said, second half, 3 goals. We haven't done that too much this season, and scoring 3 goals in a half. So especially against a team of this caliber. So it was good. So now we're going to rest up. And then Saturday we have Kennesaw Mountain, also from Georgia, that's coming to play us Saturday at 11 here at the Tank. I think they play Hilton Head tonight. I'm not sure what the result is. I haven't gone online to check scores, but that should be another good game. And then, that these 2 games will help us get ready for James on Tuesday.
Well, since you're here with us tonight, Coach,
to win the region games.
Yeah. Well, while you're here, Coach, I want to talk just soccer in general. And how about the ladies getting it done the other night? And I was there in attendance. Peyton, the town, blew themselves with the penalty shootout comeback victory after they're down 2-0. Just a crazy last 10, 20 minutes before Bluffton found a way to force overtime and bring this one to a marathon shootout where the Sharks won it in 8 rounds. But Logan Young with the hat trick and losing effort for Bluffton. And then just like you guys did, you guys know a thing or two about scoring quick goals in succession, because that's what the Sharks did. Rebecca Hoover and Emily Alonso scoring minute apart before Young tied it in the 72nd minute. And then the Sharks got it done in PKs. But great vibes over there. That's a huge win from a Mary River girls team that's been really, really impressive this year and fun to watch.
Yeah, and they're young, and I think they left a quick goal scoring vibes here on the field tonight, and that's why we picked up off of it. So we, it was solid, but the most impressive thing I saw Tuesday night, it was this track star. Justin, did you see it? The track star on the sideline just running back and forth.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw that. I mean, he was pacing back and forth. I mean,
I did.
I've never seen
a
reporter of that
He was
caliber.
getting up and down now. Getting up and down.
Listen.
Here he goes.
Listen,
here he goes.
that-
Here he goes.
That is top. That is
Player Green.
Division 1 level.
Yeah.
I mean,
Player Green.
I wouldn't be
Look at him
surprised if ESPN is calling already. Like that. That is caliber. But no. But
Look
all
at
joking
this.
aside,
I mean,
it was
he's
good.
getting it.
Bro, he's look like right here, guys. It would happen right here. I am at the crime scene right here. It's where it happened. I am at the crime scene, guys. Like I can still see the dust from his shoes on the sideline right here, guys. I'm not lying. It's right there. You guys can see it. But it's the girls, they going down 2-0 like they did against a solid Bluffton team, and to come back and score the way they did and win the game, and then you're up 3-2, they tie it. It's your crosstown rival. And then to win the penalties like they did, Lexi, 2 great saves in the penalty shootout, freshman keeper.
Yep.
That's awesome for her to do as a freshman keeper. And these guys are young. So this is going to be a solid. I am looking forward to tomorrow's game against Hilton Head. That is going to be a great, tough game. Hilton Head is on the comeback, on the up and coming. Coach Kyle's doing a great job over there. They've had a solid season so far, and I know they want to get back at us for losing at their place 2-1. We played them earlier, so tomorrow should be a very, very fun game here at the Tank with Mary River and Hilton Head girls.
By the way, 13 of your 16 games have been 1 goal or draw.
Wow.
So look, I'm losing my hair, guys. Look at this. I can't do this, man. I'm getting old.
Tell me about it. I was coaching middle school
stressful.
baseball today. Good night.
By the way, shout out to our JV baseball team. They beat Bluffton 5-1, so it's blue all over the place.
They did.
Sorry, I'm trolling again. I'm sorry. I'm trolling. I'm sorry.
Misa be trolling. Well, we'll let you get on your way back to Ridgeland. It is a school night after all, but we appreciate you making a little time and always making it fun, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all support and watching. Come out tomorrow night if you can. Mary River Hilton Head girls here.
I'm pumped. I'll be there.
Support.
I will be there.
It's going to be an awesome game. And if Wes is coming, I am going to predict he is going to do a 100-yard sprint to get these highlights for y'all. So show him some love, right? Thank y'all. I'm going home now to eat dinner and go to bed.
Get some sleep.
Be good, brother. Take care. Misa be trolling, everybody. Misa Garzon, the coach of the May River Sharks. Man, he gets it. He gets what we're trying to do here. Good times. Appreciate him. He gets it, period. Like he just gets life, like he he's got to figure it out. That dude, he's got a lot of energy, and he points it in the right direction. Is very purposeful with it, and he's helped a lot of young men get on their way, and young women as well. Love that dude. But anyway. Great to talk with me, Cigars Now, and congratulations to the Sharks. Let's shout out our varsity sponsors. DDS Web Design builds, hosts, and maintains websites that get results for businesses and nonprofits. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, call on DDS at ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties. They've been doing that for years. Jumped on with us this year to continue to expand our coverage into those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowcountry. Reverence Wrestling Club is the official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. You can take your skills on the mat to the next level at Reverence Wrestling Club. And Dr. Ambrose Cole is the official chiropractor of LowcoSports, and you can find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton. That's Dr. Ambrose Cole. He'll get your feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Those are our varsity sponsors. What else you want to dig into tonight, buddy? There wasn't a lot going on. Yeah. Most people just kind of took care of their business. Let's see if that Beaufort baseball game went final yet. What'd you say? We mentioned what?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, big win for Mayweather Soccer, as we mentioned. Good to see the Sharks get it done on a lacrosse field, and just more sensational stuff from our friend Kylie Rast on the hill or on the circle on the softball side for the Beaufort Eagles. And then, how about some other scores that came in? Bluffton Tennis. Blanking Hilton Head Christian Academy Prep over Hilton Head. So just wanted to mention some of the stuff going on in the courts today. And then a couple of fun ones over. These are I'm just reading off scores from the whole week that some that I'm all over the place.
Yeah, a couple of those got plugged in late because they came across late, like the tennis scores from yesterday. But
back to the weather got to us yesterday, so
the schedule's just kind of weird because some people are on spring break and like I don't know the schedule.
Right. There's a lull in some of the action, I guess, when you're looking at some of the baseball and softball, not as heavy this week as we've seen.
A lot of non-region, out of area stuff. Hampton County, Hilton Head Prep baseball tomorrow. Just like some kind of kooky matchups like that, and then teams that you don't know much about, like Bishop O'Connell against Hilton Head girls lacrosse, Central Magnet against Hilton Head Christian baseball. It's just I don't know. You just don't have a point of reference, so it's like you don't know what to make of it. So doesn't have any real like bearing on anything. It's just kind of playing the games, which is cool. It's cool to just play one where you don't have to worry about what happens so much, and you can just kind of work on your game a little bit. But kind of boring for us, honestly. We like the high stakes matchups.
Yeah, we'll get back to that soon. But it's just one of those weeks where a lot of moving parts. There's teams and students on spring break, well deserved to get some time off. But also cool, as we mentioned, for these other schools from out of the area to test themselves against local squads, and conversely for us to kind of these schools to see where they're at midway point in the season. Tonight's litmus test to see where are we against these outside teams coming in, and what do we need to do to improve as we get ready to go down the stretch of the regular season for most of these games. And speaking of which, we're just a few weeks away from the cross playoffs getting started. It's mid-April. April. This is the first week of April. 2 weeks from now, we'll be getting into the cross playoffs, which is crazy to think about, but it is coming up soon, postseason for boys and girls lacrosse. So we'll get those brackets out to you very shortly, and
as soon as they become available.
Yeah.
So let's see, I'm pulling up the bracket now. They start on the 17th.
Yeah, so that's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now.
It's 2 weeks away, and it is just the top 8. So I don't know what that looks like. I would assume both Hilton Head teams are safely inside that top 8, but I wouldn't make that assumption about any other area teams. May River boys, maybe, but I mean, their overall record is poor, but that's because they've played a ridiculous schedule. I mean, Bluffton's got 3 more wins than them, but we saw what happened when they played head to head. So I don't know how they determine that. I think they have some kind of scoring system or something, if I remember right, but I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we can get one of the lacrosse coaches to come on and explain to us how they pick the playoff brackets.
We've got some good ones. Kerr Cook's done an excellent job on the and Coach Dyer, really transitioning and transforming this Beaver lacrosse team, which is always delivered a really great culture, and these guys get into it. And I just love the way they communicate and talk, not just on the sideline but on the field, and really make sure they're on the same page. It really takes, and other sports too, we see similarities, but especially in lacrosse, you really have to be communicating well and knowing where each other is on the field, because it's a fast-paced game, and you really have to kind of notice how things open up quickly if you have the cutter going to the goal, or if you see a guy open on the other side. You have to make very quick decisions in this sport, and everybody has to be working in sync for those solid teams to do what they do out there on the field. And conversely, it makes it tough for the defense. You have to really be working hard on your feet, on your toes, the entirety of that. And sometimes it makes it even harder when you have to play a man down, which is why those calls can really swing a game when you have that 1 minute or so to be a man up and get that.
Why don't they just call it power play? We all understand what that means.
Like, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Difference.
That's been a gripe of mine since I was introduced to lacrosse. I was like, why aren't we just calling
it basically a power play, but it's called something different.
Man up.
Yep.
No, that was just a silly aside and pet peeve, because not a lot to talk about tonight. But I will give a little shout out to River Ridge baseball tonight. They beat our bricks off. We did a lot of self-inflicted, but they can hit, man. And I know a bunch of those kids. Their coaching staff's doing a heck of a job too. But middle school baseball is a weird situation. The bus situation, there's no lights. It's not great. We need to figure some things out, but that's for another day and another forum. But not much else to talk about tonight, and we both have to be up early, so we can start to wind this thing down a little bit. But I did touch base with Nick Pringle. He's out, of course, in Arizona now for the Final Four. Definitely going to get him on soon, as well as Ryle Owens. He wants to hop in soon, so we'll be catching up with those guys soon. Certainly, last night was fun talking with Erlon Baker and D Smalls.
Really cool.
Very cool. And good night, Mr. Medeiros. Have a great night in Bermuda. But we appreciate your support. But that was fun talking with those guys. And I texted with D after, and he really enjoyed it. And we were both just kind of, on cloud nine afterwards about the experience. So that was really fun.
Really cool to hear from D. That's someone who I wasn't really able to follow as much when he was there. Or I just didn't know him. But, really cool for these kids to learn from them, and, just to remember some guys and to see, that's one of the fun things I really enjoy about this podcast opportunity is to talk with alumni and talk with these guys who have
reminisce.
So hopefully we can get to more of those kinds of young men, young women who have come through these programs and are now doing new chapters in their lives, and great to always catch up and kind of see where they're at. So that's always a fun thing. But we have a bunch of them, and a lot of them all just really continue to show love for this area and the Lowcountry, and even like the big stars like Puna and D Delaney and everybody who's really made their stamp at the big leagues. Never forget the journey that they went on and what this Lowcountry did to help empower them. And same thing we said for Nick Pringle, and that's going to be really cool to when this is all over, to see him come back and help out potentially some of these kids, just to be a great role model and bring that same energy, enthusiasm back here to the Lowcountry, and be that guy that these kids can look up to, because that means a lot. And no matter where the area is, when you see somebody excel at the highest level and putting their city or their area or their town on the map, and performing well at the biggest spotlights, it just puts the emphasis on these kids that they're going to work as hard, if not even harder, than those stars out there. So it's just really awesome. We got a bunch of standouts who have come through here and found a way to continue their craft at the highest level of their sport, and the journey that a bunch of these guys have went, especially Nick, with all the turns and twists and roadblocks that went on throughout that process from Wofford and then going to junior college at Dodge City, and the way that he improved, just over those few years when he was at the JUCO ranks, that
Just
really
1
was
year.
the secret sauce.
Yeah,
just
1
the one
year.
season. Yeah.
Just went in and
Yep.
put his nose to the grindstone, and he got bigger and stronger and more physical. I think his game has developed more in the 2 years at Alabama than it did at Dodge City, but I think his body and his mentality is what he had to go and develop there. He just had to get stronger, more physical, more mentally tough, and be ready to go, to compete at the SEC level. We've seen flashes of like crazy brilliance at times, but it's been, just kind of spotty, and he
Yeah, and it hasn't been
get
just the
himself
flashy
on the,
plays like we saw the blocks and the dunks, but just some big time basketball plays, whether it's
yeah.
been converting those and ones or
Oh, I
playing.
mean, the other night he was unreal. I mean, he was doing everything. He looked like the most complete player that I've seen him, both ends, facing up and knocking down jumpers and like doing things that have kind of been knocks on him in the past. He
Yeah.
was doing them. So,
But
I think it's
the
good.
hard workers, the best players who who write those scripts and get themselves anointed as legends. Those are the kinds of guys who just turn up their game to a level they haven't seen. When you get the opportunity that he found against a Clemson team that was coming in playing some extraordinary basketball, and Pringle just found a way on both sides or both ends. And especially what he was able to do late in that contest when it really got close, and when Pringle found the ball, he just no fear in his game.
None.
He attacked and went to the
Yeah.
hoop, and he was not denied. And that is when
Yeah,
the
he
time
kinda put
comes,
the nail.
Yep.
Yeah, he kind of put the nail in him. I mean, those two and ones down the stretch, that kind of killed any hope of a rally. It was impressive.
Well, I think
Um,
something to be said. It's a great advertisement for what you can do in junior college, because that's
oh
the
yeah.
quintessential reason why it can be effective. How many reps did he get against still quality competition at the JUCO level with Dodge City? How many chances did he
Really,
get
really
to?
good competition. I
Yeah,
covered some Kansas JUCO ball for a year before I came out here. I was in Parsons, Kansas, and where Labette was, and I'll tell you what, man, there's some dudes in that league, some absolute dudes, and the women too. I mean, there were kids going, to D1s all over the place
yep.
from that league. It is not for the meek though. Speaking of JUCOs, I talked to Elijah White the other day at Hilton Head Christian. He's still looking for a place. I think he's a college basketball player in my mind, without a question. But he's kind of that marginal kid that's starting to get squeezed out right now by the whole, or at least until late, because you got to wait till everybody settles from the portal to figure out what's left. And so he's going to have to be patient, but he did say he has some JUCO looks and that he is entertaining that route,
But
which I don't think would be a bad decision for him at all. I think he's got enough game that with some development at the JUCO level, he could really, turn into something special. So
test the water.
and then
See what
another, yeah,
go
exactly.
ahead.
And then another local guy that keeping tabs on, I saw that Garvin Douglas is listed on the depth chart at Savannah State now. They do have a returning starter, a quarterback who's been there 2 years, has been the starter for 2 years. So, presumably it's his job to lose. But Garvin's one of the two guys that they listed as pushing him, and they play their spring game tomorrow night. So I'm hoping that I think our buddy Sam Williams is going to pop over there. So maybe he can get us some video of Garvin, or come on and give us a report
Nice.
and an update on any of the local guys there. I don't know if they have anybody else from the area, but Garvin is there now. So
Nice.
hope to see him have success. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I really enjoyed watching him play, especially that senior year when he took over under center for the Sharks, and that was one of the most electric. I mean, going from straight to Ahmad Green, Garvin Douglas, a heck of a duo right there over the years for that program. But yeah, that's a guy who's going to work his tail off when he gets the opportunity, and he's got a high motor, nice quickness in his game that he's able to scramble and just make the most of his opportunities when he sees the open grass. And it's going to be a transition. When you get ready to take on this opportunity, it's not going to be easy, especially when you're going to big. You're playing from behind in the sense that you already have a solidified starter, and so now you either get you never know what can happen injury wise, and weird things can happen. Sometimes you get the opportunity and you seize it, and maybe that'll happen for him. But if not, we'll see if the coaches are creative and put him at different spots in the field, because that's what you got to do to win games, is use your athletes unconventionally and find ways to put them in good spots on the field. And I feel like Garvin, with his athleticism, is going to find some opportunity to help this team win football games.
Yeah, I've always felt like he was one of those guys that you take him in as a quarterback and you let him be a quarterback as long as he wants to be a quarterback. But you kind of hope there comes a day where he goes, you know what, I'm tired of sitting on the bench behind this guy. Can you just put me at free safety and let me knock people's clocks off? I've always thought, or tight end or something, I've always thought he might be one of those guys that I've seen those guys, like when I was covering Mizzou, every year there'd be 3 or 4 guys that were converted quarterbacks, and now they're either wide receivers or running backs or DBs or whatever. But it's kind of like recruiting shortstops in college baseball.
Yep.
You can recruit as many shortstops as you want because they can play anywhere. And you can recruit as many quarterbacks as you want because if they're big and physical and can run, they can play a lot of places on the field. You can convert them pretty easily because quarterbacks see the whole field. They see the whole game. They can see it from both an offensive and a defensive perspective. They have to understand, what everybody's doing on every play. So I think it's easy for them to, when they embrace it, make a position change. So I've always thought that was a possibility for Garvin, but I do think there's enough there as a quarterback at the college level to let him keep experimenting. And like the legs are such a weapon that, if the arm is just average, he can be pretty dangerous at the D2 level. Now I'm getting excited about football season coming around, man.
Yeah.
I was just talking with Marlo earlier about it. I was starting to get
before you know it. Yeah, before you know it, we got to spring games to keep an eye on around the Lowco. So it's getting close to that time already.
Well, about as soon as the spring season wraps, we're going to start leaning into football previews and blow it out, man, because I'm ready. I'm ready to do it.
Yeah, especially when things get kind of out over summer. Yeah, go deep into some of these squads, and because before you know it, it's training camp. It's August, and we're getting ready to jump back into football. So I'm pumped for that, and looking forward to seeing a lot of new storylines. Some changes coaching wise, and a lot of turnover in terms of some of these guys on the squad. So I'm looking to really dive into that as we get deeper into the spring and then head towards the summer. So obviously a lot more to talk about in these spring sports, but it's always fun to look ahead and to see what's happening on the field this fall. So I'm very excited. It's always I'm Hilton Prep. With the new coach that they have, I'm pumped to see how that transition goes, because I think there could be some really interesting possibilities there for what we see.
It'll probably take a year or two, I think, but I think it'll get a lot better quickly. I'm excited about him. I'm really excited about him. I'm excited for Taylor Malfris taking over at Thomas Hayward too.
Yeah.
He wanted the job last year. Tony McGeary took the job. And now Taylor is sliding in there. As far as I know, Tyree Simmons is staying to be his DC. And I like Taylor a lot. He was terrific assistant under Nick Shuford. The kids love him. And Tony O'Banner is just the truth. So I think that team.
You always have a chance when he's out there in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think May River probably bounces back next year. Yeah. Bluffton is still very interesting. Buford's always going to be interesting.
Yeah, as long as Libran stays there, they're going to be right in contention in 3A.
Yeah,
or going back to 4A rather, they're going to be a 4A team again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Realignment also, adds another extra, sprinkle into what we're going to talk about, because you have a couple in Hampton County, of course. What will the Hurricanes do for an encore after that first year? And they've got a lot of guys back, and Rob Hanna's sure he's going to be raring to go heading into the spring, because some unfinished business there after falling short to Oceanside. So I'm pumped for what year 2 is going to look like over in Hampton.
Yeah, they lose a lot.
They do. Of course,
in
Dobson,
the trenches in particular, and then of course Dobson. But
you mentioned
they also return. Singletary.
And as well as that tremendous linebacker
and Chris Terry. And Chris Terry's back, and he's got some speed to work with. Bovane is really dangerous. Josh Goodman, if he plays again, which I assume he will, because I think
Cody Seegers, that's a big loss.
That is a big loss. Simone Lofties is a big loss. But Lil D, Desmond's back. Emerson Gerald's back. Mandrell Sanders.
And I'm sure they got some guys coming up from the
Little Risher's coming up. Jazzy Goins is back. He's gets better every year. So they still got some serious juice. And like you said, I'm sure there's young guys coming too that they're excited about.
No doubt.
But they are going to have to reload in the trenches, because that's where, they lost Causey and Anderson and Big D. They do have TJ back, so that helps. But they're going to have to. And they lost E54. My boy E54 is graduating too, and Trent Robinson. So there's a lot of the scales. There's a lot of scale tipping.
I'm pumped for football season. Just talking about
just remembering names, just saying names. That's all it took, right?
Yeah. Now it's like, let's
I love it.
Go.
Just saying some names. Let's go watch those guys play. Watch those guys play again. It's gonna be fun. But anyway,
I love Friday nights are awesome. I love the whole experience of going to games, covering them, and talking to them. That's Friday nights are the best in the fall.
There's just nothing quite like it, man. Yep. Nothing quite like it. But the Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court are the Court Lifestyle Pros, and they are with Charter One Realty. They'd love to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Revive Rehab, Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. Dr. Allie and Dr. Jen run the shop over there, and they are the best when it comes to postpartum care. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets. You can also set up a team store. You can get your awards and your trophies all over at Eagle Creations. Go see their showroom on Argent Boulevard. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. You can get a great style or some spicy conversation. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry, Chris Odom. I saw him check in earlier tonight. He'll get your floors so clean that your feet will thank you. Wes, it's Thursday night. We both got to be up early, so let's go ahead and shout some people out and tell the people where we'll be tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, Kylie Rast, obviously, for what she did out there for Buford softball. That's always an easy when she puts up their 18 strikeout performances for Buford High. I mean, I know Hilton had a rebuilding team, but still, any team you play, if you strike out 18 players, I mean, that's almost every single batter you face. I mean, especially it'll take nothing to not run a rule, so you still go all 7. But it's nearly everybody. 18 out of 21 outs are on K's, which is just phenomenal. What a clip. But she has been an absolute star this entire year and really these last 2 seasons. And she's really found an extra level of her game and has gone from great to elite and dominant at this level. So I'm pumped to see how it finishes out for her this year and to watch her compete beyond that, because she is quite the talent on the field. And then I'll go to the lacrosse field since I was there tonight. That's big win for May River, a team that won and lost 8 in a row. So a huge bounce back victory. I'll give freshman Turner Johnson, scoring 3 goals, as a ninth grader. No easy feat. Welcome to the rivalry. Great to see him produce. And then Aiden Cashner also providing the team lead in points, 4 goals and 3 assists, so a 7-point night for Cashner. Yeah, it's tremendous.
Really solid.
Yeah,
that's a big night. I will shout out some Buford Eagles as well. On the baseball side, Logan Brutcher in the leadoff spot tonight, 3 for 4 with a walk, 2 runs, and 4 RBIs. Nice day for him. Buford wins 12-9 over Brookwood, which had beaten Bluffton 9-3 earlier in the day. And then Simon McAllister with that 37 out at Hilton Head Lakes today to lead the Eagles to the win, 5-shot win over May River. So a couple Buford Eagles getting some love, and I guess, and then of course, the May River Sharks, Mississippi Trollins boys. That's a really nice
win, quality victory for that team. Good character showing that one.
Indeed. So, where are you headed tomorrow? You're going to the Tank.
I'm going to the Tank.
Girls soccer.
Bring back the sneakers because I may have to be doing some running just because I had a hard time seeing the numbers from up there. Just with the recording, and I had to go down and check and see who scored the goals. So when I'm down at the field, it's just easier to see the player numbers and to see how everything's going, get that bird's eye view. So or rather just an up close view. And
you can just ask people, hey, who was that? And they'll tell you.
Yeah, sometimes on those corners, you can't really see who that went off last. It was a header, or sometimes it just went off the leg or the knee. Who scored that last? But so I'm pumped. That's a huge game. Just looking in the scope of the standings and how the season will play out. It's a absolutely massive contest for both the Saint Sharks. I meant to say the Seahawks and the Sharks. Saint Sharks. But by the way, Saint Sharks had a nice girls soccer or women's soccer, spring season as well. I got to talk with Leah White the other day, so they're doing well. But speaking of the Seahawks and the Sharks over at May River, that's going to be a marquee matchup and important for May River to build off what they did. Although this Hilton Head team, this is the best quality side from the Seahawks I've seen in at least a year, maybe more. Although Kid Sealback had a couple of good ones, especially the 21. She took them to the Lower State Championship, and they've always been solid throughout. But they've taken a huge step forward in year one for Coach Collins. So I'm excited for what he's brought and the new energy that he's brought as a head coach, and how these young ladies have stepped up their game. So it's going to be a battle. I expect it to be another tight one, maybe a little bit more low scoring. Hilton Head, does a good job of playing tight defense. They did it against Bluffton, but it could be one of those games where it starts out slow and then it really picks up in the second half when we get a couple of goals going back and forth. So, they've seen each other before. May River with a narrow win in the first contest at Hilton Head. So, the Seahawks are going to want to step it up and try to even the series and get the split, which would be, important for them to get that step ahead.
Yeah.
As we
huge, because if May River sweeps them, it's like
you get head-to-head advantages. Huge. So that pretty much locks out the Seahawks from getting the top 3 spot, because you got James and Lucy Beckham. If Hilton Head can beat May River, it suddenly becomes interesting for the Seahawks. So big opportunity for Kyle Newsom's team as well as May River. That would be huge to get not just one but the sweep over Hilton Head. And I just like the way they responded. The fact that they knew they weren't out of it despite Bluffton outplaying them and got a couple of good opportunities and got the bounces they need to get back in it, and then just quick strike scoring, and then all of a sudden they're on top. But yeah, that, and then credit to the keeper for getting it done in penalties as well, alongside a couple of big saves earlier. But going to be a new challenge, and their coach said it. I heard their discussion at the end of the game of how Hilton Head. That's not the Hilton Head team we've seen in the past. They're better than we saw in the last time. So we're gonna have to bring in our A game, and it might have to take that for the Sharks to beat what should be a hungry Seahawks team coming to the tank on Friday night. So I'm pumped to see it unfold. I love this local on local high stakes girls soccer, because this region is so fun to watch. You just never know.
I just love the energy in both those programs right now. And even, Bluffton, I think probably they're disappointed in how their season's gone so far, wins and losses wise, but they have a great energy in their program too.
Logan Young is quite the scorer. I have to see how many goals he's up to.
They just all have really positive vibes, like positive energy. Everybody is developing and getting better and having fun, and like it looks healthy in all those programs.
Speaking of Sand Sharks, we mentioned them earlier. I didn't mean to mention them then, but
I was going to say,
baseball and softball back in action, both on the road. So baseball with an important series, Peach Belt play against Columbus State, and then softball will have a non-conference weekend series against a very familiar Georgia Gwinnett side. So taking advantage of some momentum they generated at the end of the weekend sets against the side they just beat in
baseball took one
so
off
now you get
right
baseball that was an important win that they got against I mean, even though they didn't win the series, taking that one the way they did in extras and rallying back, that shows a lot for that Ted Faulkner team.
It prevented them from going a literal calendar month without a win, which would have been demoralizing.
Hey, that says nothing. Just find a way to get one win. If you're the New York Mets, you found a way to get one win today. Now you build on
it. Stop the bleeding. Oh, they finally got one today, huh?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Matt. Is anybody still winless? Yeah, the Marlins are 0-8.
Oh my.
Yeah. Rough go for the Marlins. But all kinds of stuff going on tomorrow night. We'll hear Wes's recap of Hilton Head May River girls soccer tomorrow night on the Lowdown, as well as we'll try to catch up on what's happening with USCB baseball and softball, which should be easy enough. All those games get live streamed pretty much, and there's live stats if they aren't. We'll have girls lacrosse potentially. Hilton Head had a game on their schedule at some point. I don't know if it's still on there. Yeah, Bishop O'Connell tomorrow night at 6. So that's an interesting. I don't know who Bishop O'Connell is, but I imagine they're good. Sounds like they'd be good at lacrosse. Hampton County, Hilton Head Prep baseball at 4, Woodland at Bluffton at 6:30, Central Magnet at Hilton Head Christian at 6:30. I think Max is going to be at that one. High school softball, you got a doubleheader. It looks like this is what I have on the schedule. I don't know if it's true. TL Hannah at Hilton Head at 5 and TL Hannah at Buford at 7. That can't be right. So where are they playing? I don't know the answer to that. And then Hilliard Davidson, Ohio tennis playing Bluffton. They took on Hilton Head today, I believe, or Buford. Yeah.
I'm excited for both those USB baseball and softball series, and great opportunity for that baseball side to build off what they did on the road. That's you'd love to take at least one away from Columbus State. It's never easy, although you got Claflin as the bottom feeders, and that's when you got to take all 3 if you can. But Columbus State, I mean, just 9-6. There's a ton of teams that are right there. I mean, Georgia College is 11-4, and there's a bunch of teams at 10-5. So it is scrambled together at the top of the Peach Belt. That's how tough and how strong, how deep it is. But Columbus State, that's not going to be easy. Even one of those, even any of those 3 games, you're going to have to work to get those wins. But we've seen they can do it. They've Georgia Southwestern able to take 2 from They got that big win against Lander. Right now, Lander's number 2 in the tie for second in the conference. So if you can find a way to get 1, maybe 2, if you really
game.
find your game.
It's a weird game, man.
Yeah. You know what? Just find a way to keep pace with Aiken, because if you're within a game or so of them at the end of the year, you'll have a chance to battle out that last spot.
If you're within a game and you win 2 out of 3, then you get head-to-head and boom.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the name of the game right now, is keep them within arm's length, and you got a shot. But good stuff tonight, Wes. Always enjoy it. Thanks so much to Misa Garzon, a.k.a. Misa B. Trollin, for hopping on to talk May River soccer with us. Thanks to all of our sponsors for all their support throughout the year, keeping us going. And thanks to Maderos tuning in from Bermuda. We are international tonight. We were across international waters. And thanks to all of you for showing up to listen or watch. We love doing it. We love talking to you guys and letting you know what's going on in the Loco sports scene, shining a light on the teams and student athletes who are repping the Loco. So we'll be back to do it again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Please be sure and join us. And until then, go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.